Hello and welcome to Shanghai for the Victor China Open, event number 11 on the 12 tournament OSIM BWF World Super Series. Not only is this the penultimate event, but also the fifth of the 5 premier events, an even higher tier of tournament within the Super Series. Of course, the 5 premiers, we started with Korea, then the All England, Indonesia, Denmark, and now China. Just one more Super Series to come. Next week is the Hong Kong Open, and it's all in the race to the Super Series Finals to be staged in December. Well, it's second round matches today, and we're starting with mixed doubles, and H.Hashimoto and M.Maeda of Japan. They're up against the world champions, Tontowi, T.Ahmad and L.Natsir from Indonesia. Then women's singles and the Olympic bronze medalist, Shen, the number 6 seed here in Shanghai. She's up against the 19-year-old Yuan. Then women's doubles and the Olympic champions, Tianqing and Yuan of China. They're up against Maswari and Polly, who at the last Super Series event in Paris beat the reigning world champions, Wang Xiaoli and Yuan. That is a match to look out for this afternoon. Then men's singles and 2 men who this year won their maiden Super Series titles. Of course, it's Tommy Sugiyato who won in Singapore up against Wang Zhiming, who won the China Masters. And then we finish off this afternoon's play with men's doubles and the Indonesian pair of Finaldi and Kido, winners as qualifiers of the French Super Series, the last Super Series prior to this. They're up against the All England champions, Liu Xiaolong and Chu Sihan. Well, of course, as you could see, this is most definitely a premier Super Series event. Our director just wanted to emphasise that point. And why not this one of the 5 majors within the Super Series throughout the year? Well, of course, we have been talking as the players come onto court about this being the 11th of 12 events on the Super Series tournament, and it's all building up to a crescendo at the Super Series Finals to be staged in December. Now, the Super Series Finals are just the top 8 players or pairs from each of the 5 disciplines will qualify for those Super Series Finals. And of course, it is only the Super Series tournaments that count towards those Super Series standings. I wonder if we're going to get a look at the Super Series standings, but I can tell you that at the moment the Olympic champions Zhang Nan and Zhao Yunlei are top of the mixed doubles Super Series list. The pair we are looking at from Indonesia in the blue kit, well, they're number 2 on the Super Series standings, having reached 4 finals, winning 3 titles. So these 2 pairs meeting each other for the first time. I'm Jill Clark, and I'm delighted to say that sitting alongside me once again, as for the Premier Super Series, Jim Laugerson, former world number 1 in men's doubles, of course. And Jim, welcome to Shanghai and to this second round encounter. Good lineup for today, and I suppose very briefly we will be looking for better things from the world champions in the mixed doubles than we saw in Paris.
Yeah, I think we will, we will see that from them. I think they had a little bit of a bad tournament there, and I think they're looking forward to make up for that.
So Hirokatsu, Hashimoto and Miyuki Maeda against the number 2 seeds, Tontowi, T.Ahmad and Liliyana. Well, maybe we'll get a look at the Super Series standings. Yes, indeed we do now. I've already told you about the pair at number 1, 7 finals from 8 tournaments played, having won 6 of them. Good reason why they are the world number 1s, and number 1s on the road to Malaysia as well. Up 2 places is the English pairing of Adcock and White, who happen to now be Mr. and Mrs. Adcock. Of course, they reached the semi-final in France, the last of the Super Series events prior to this. So, as far as the Japanese pair are concerned, well, they certainly last week went up 1 place in the world ranking to 26. There we go. Of course, world rankings will be run later today, so if they were to win today, that might change for tomorrow. Win-loss record for the year still in the negative, which is a little bit of a concern. This pair has never actually progressed as far as a quarter-final in any tournament that they've played, not just the Super Series, never beyond the round of 16. So, of course, we're looking at Maeda. She is 28 years of age, her partner 27, so he will turn 28 next month. So for them, wanting to go into new territory, of course, Maeda has reached the final of this event a year ago in the women's doubles with Satoko Suetsuna. Their first round match, you can see 2 straight games, just 38 minutes for that, so fairly comfortable against Kang and Yu. So to Liliyana Natsir, well, she made history at the World Championships earlier this year. Became the first female badminton player ever to win 3 gold medals in the mixed doubles discipline, following the footsteps, of course, of a male player, Park Ju-bong, but became the first ever badminton player to win 5 medals in the mixed doubles discipline at the World Championships. The 28-year-old from Manado in the north of North Sulawesi. Their win-loss record for the year, as we look at T.Ahmad, the 26-year-old from Central Java. Well, 6 finals from 10 tournaments played, won 4 titles, including, of course, retaining their All-England title. And who can forget their World Championship final when they won the gold medal, beating the #1 seed Ma Jin and Zhu Chen, saving 2 match points in the deciding game. What a thrilling match that World Championship final was. Now, Jim, I know that you and I were watching this Japanese pair at the Denmark Open in Odense just last month, and we were talking at length about Maeda and how she's improved in mixed doubles discipline. The big question is, has she improved enough to really challenge the world #2s?
Well, we have to see that. I have my doubts, and I also think the history of this pair is showing it. But well, you never know. I think it will be difficult for them today.
Right?
I think, as I say,
H.Hashimoto,
the Indonesian pair is on a
Miyuki,
different mission than we saw them last time. So
on my left, Tontowi, Ahmad, and L.Natsir, Malaysia.
Yeah, it's a tall order
Miyuki,
already.
Maeda to serve to L.Natsir.
I think they're from Indonesia.
Level.
Yes, let's
Play.
get that absolutely right. Tontowi Ahmad and Liliyana Natsir. Far side of the court as we look down. Reigning world champions from Indonesia. Xiao Feng, our umpire for this, and Lu Ming,
1
the
love.
service judge. Well, there's a coach you'd want on your side, isn't it? Park Ju-bong, former world and Olympic champion, and the man I've just mentioned as the only other player to win 3 world mixed doubles titles. He, of course, is coaching the Japanese players now.
One thing that's going to be interesting in this match is that I spoke to some of the players this morning, and they say it's a very slow haul.
Yes.
It's difficult to hit smashes down. It's not so when you drive, it's not so slow, but it's more in the attacking area of the game. And I think maybe that suits the Japanese pair a little bit. And when we then talk about Maeda improving now, she's up against what I think one of the best girls at the net in L.Natsir. So this is going to be a big test for her.
Well, they've made a good start.
3 love.
Yeah, well, we see it suits the Japanese pair because they can be, you know, getting a good position in their defense, and then just from there working.
Oh my goodness, late decision. Well, in Paris, I felt that this Indonesian pair, the world champions, there was certainly very heavy strapping on the right knee of Tontowi Ahmad, but I just felt he wasn't in the right frame of mind mentally. They lost out to the English pair of Chris Adcock and Gabby White in 2 straight games. And I mean, I'm really looking for him to be a little more positive from the onset of this match.
Yeah. Well, he had some. I read before he went to Denmark Open. I read what he, you know, he had an interview and he said he was in Denmark to win it.
Yeah.
So you know, it's sometimes difficult for the players to kind of like have a target and then have to redo it again for the next week. So sometimes you see that in players. And he is, when it comes to the mental part of the game, that's where I think he has been struggling over the years. I do think, though, he has improved now.
Yeah.
And I also thought that was the reason why they became world champions.
Yeah. I don't disagree with anything you've said there, Jim. I endorse it all. The only comment I would make, of course, they wanted to do well in the Denmark Super Series because that was one of the premiers. Here we are in China. This is the last of the 5 premiers. But to me, they are professional athletes, they're professional badminton players, and the whole thing about sport, you look at, you know, what's just happened in tennis and the bitter disappointment for Djokovic after losing the final of the US Open to Nadal. What does he do? He doesn't lose another match for the rest of the year. He's finished his year now. It's how you fight back. Exactly. That's the test of the champion, and they are world champions, and I would have liked to have seen a bit more fight in Paris.
I don't disagree with you. I don't think I should. No, I completely. But that's also, you know, that's also part of being a world-class player, of becoming a legend.
Yes.
I would say if you can do that, and that's what he needs to improve.
Yeah.
So it was just pointing out that it is a problem in his game.
Yeah.
You know, that's why a guy like Lee Chong-wei, you know, he's just, for me, a legend because you very seldom see him not coming out and performing in every match.
Yeah. 7 straight points.
But we've already seen here a totally different attitude from Ahmad.
Yeah.
8 straight.
Disagreeing on the line call.
He's not happy as Hashimoto.
But he will be happy in the future because I don't think we'll have those anymore.
That's right. It's just been announced that we will have line call reviews in operation for the Super Series Finals in December. Very exciting news. And as far as some of the top badminton players are concerned, I've heard some of them quoted in the newspapers as saying not before time. Very keen that it all happens, this review system.
9 straight.
So 9 straight points now. Straight points. Love to go down they were.
Yeah. But they're on the attack now. Playing really well.
Oh, that's good defense. Yeah. Well played. Desperation defense from Maeda. Kept them in the rally. Go to the mid-game interval.
It's over. 11-4 interval.
7-point advantage to the reigning world champions. And just 5 minutes played. Well, Nova Widianto, Indonesian coach and of course former partner to Liliyana Natsir. They won this title here in China 6 years ago.
I always find this confusing. Two coaches talking to each of the players.
Yeah, it's very much an Asian way. I mean, it seems to work for them, and I know you and I have talked at at length about, well, you've got to know your players and know what they like. So some coaches talk a lot, some say very little. And if pairs like two different coaches coming on court, well, God, that's what they want. You can't argue against it, really. But to us, it's odd, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
The base over. 5-11.
Now the Japanese really trying to do the defense.
Base over.
Using the hole, the big hole, you know, the higher you get the shuttle, the more difficult it is to time it and to get power on your smashes. I just don't think it will work against the world champions.
No. Oh. There's definitely more urgency in the style of play with the Indonesians, no question in my mind.
Oh. 14-5.
Delightful. That's just, she seems to be at one with her racket, doesn't she? She just sort of extension of her arm and just guides that shuttle across court. It's just delightful.
It's almost like she can talk to the shuttle.
Yeah. Strings in his racket are gone. Tontowi Ahmad.
Over.
It's just also, it's just that she gives Ahmad, you know,
15.
he can get away with a lot of things because she's so good at it. So he can take chances where a lot of other mixed double men players can't take those chances. He can do that because, as we spoke before about her, she's not, you know, we've seen the biggest smashes in the game where she's just defending it.
Yeah.
Like it's easy for her. So he's got so many things that he can do on court that he can get away with because she is that good.
Referee.
Dear. Now what's happening here?
Referee.
It's a flash.
Play.
Yeah. I can see the tournament referee and his deputy just down to our left in front of us and saying to the spectators, just switch off those flashlights on your cameras and phones. It's going wide.
Service over. 16-6.
Just like to see the Japanese doing a little bit more to try and take Liliyana Natsir on at the net.
Yeah.
No. That's probably why they haven't been.
Well, you can say, you know,
17-6.
It's 17-6 now, and the way they're playing the Japanese is not working. And it's not going to work in the second set either. So you can take the challenge up and say, we are going to try and play the kind of tactic that if we're to succeed in this match, that's what we need to do. Instead of just continue the same type of tactic. And I think that's one of the big weaknesses in the Japanese pair. And that's probably why we haven't seen better results than what you explained in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's too easy, you know. It's too easy to play against them because if you kind of can say counter their tactic, you know nothing else is going to come.
Yeah. Because when they formed their partnership at the beginning of this year, you know, Japan has not had, they've had some very good mixed doubles pairs, but not really outstanding in the same way as they've had some outstanding women's doubles and men's doubles pairs. They've had some very good. And I thought, oh, this could be an outstanding mixed doubles pair, but it really hasn't developed in the way I had hoped it was going to develop.
It's developed how we've seen it before, Japanese pairs. I think we're still looking for that. I think we're still looking for that Japanese mixed double lady that, you know, can be a Natsir. Now it's difficult to be a Natsir, but just get close to it.
Yeah.
They're sticking to that type of player.
Yeah. How about Hirokatsu and Matsutomo?
They've also,
I mean, we've watched them this year.
Yeah, but it's still it's the same. It's the same. It's the same. We will have to see. The jury's out on that one. If you can say. I think it's, and this is the perfect match to talk about, because this is the obvious, you know.
Oh, just wide.
The obvious reason why they won't succeed against a pair like the Indonesian pair.
Yeah.
9-19.
It's kind of like they're very solid in their game, but they can't go further than that. See, as soon as she places it, lift.
She lifts it. She doesn't try and really threaten that. No.
Over. 20 game point.
Game points have arrived. 11 of them, to be precise.
Fantastic slice, man.
It's over. 10-20.
I'm just pointing out that the Indonesians in the wrong formation.
Eleven, 20.
Got the smash.
Liliyana
Broke down the Japanese defense. .242 to close out the opening game. 21-11 the scoreline in 15 minutes of play.
The Japanese pair needs to come up with something different.
Ini datar banget, kamu mah belum kapal juga ini. Persabda dulu aja. Kamu turun lagi nih baru nyari bloknya, baru nyari keduanya. Ya.
Saya kalau nembak dia nggak fokus sama.
Ya, balik-balik terus. Lepas nggak apa-apa.
look pretty relaxed at the moment, do the world champions. Tontowi Ahmad and Liliyana Natsir.
Count 1, 20 seconds. Count 1, 20 seconds.
Well, the score indicates they should be relaxed.
Yeah.
So, well, if there was a time to see a change in the Japanese pair, it should be now.
Well, all will be revealed in just one moment. Will they try something different?
Play.
I'm with you, Jim. I think they have to.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go, second game. Oh, it was a quick return of serve, wasn't it? He looked far more aggressive on that. Maybe the signs are good.
Service over. 1 love.
No real surprises in the mixed doubles draw yesterday. Only one seeded pair failed to make it through to the second round, and that was Praveen Jordan and Vita Marisan, and the number 8 seeds from Indonesia.
Have it again. Just
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny. Now,
Two,
I've watched it in H.Hashimoto. He's really trying to be aggressive, and he's actually trying to do some of the net plays and whatever. But M.Maeda just lifts it away every time there's a little bit of pressure on it. So they're kind of working opposite of each other.
Yeah, counteracting the other move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there we can have a discussion. Is that because of the two coaches? is one of them telling?
Good point.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the big high lift again. And again.
See? He's not afraid to challenge. There again. Lift.
Yeah, good rally.
They're just too good.
Yeah, yeah.
Service over. 1, 2.
And the final smash here, perfect placement, aimed towards the right hip. Got him on the right thigh. Had a good year, have this Indonesian pair. 6 finals from 10 tournaments. Can't be bad, is it?
Oh. Again.
4.
That said, you look at 2012 for the Indonesians as well, and I know we're not finished 2013, but last year they had 7 finals, winning 5 titles. Now they've had 6 finals, winning 4 titles. So if they want to equal what they did last year, as far as titles, they need another one.
Yeah.
But it's not always about number of titles, it's the way you perform week in, week out. You were talking about that in the opening game, you know, about Lee Chong-wei and his consistency. World #1 men's singles player, of course, Lee Chong-wei, sadly not able to be here in China for this event, recovering from an ankle injury.
It is consistency.
Yeah.
I think coming from Denmark, I think
Service over. 3, 2.
it's one of the things that Denmark has been spoiled over the last 14, 15 years is with Peter Gade, is that he was always in the pack somewhere. And right now you see yesterday.
Oh, look at that return. Yeah.
3 men's singles up.
Service over.
Yeah.
3, 4.
And yeah, he over the last couple of years had difficulty beating the top ones. It was challenging, but he was there. He never did perform, you know, against the ones he was supposed to be.
4.
In fact, I think it was over about a 10-month period or something, over 2010, 2011, Peter Gade reached at least the semi-final of every single tournament he played, and that included the World Championships and All England. And you're right, he may not be winning the titles, but consistently doing very, very well. And, you know, there's a few players doing that
5,
now.
3.
And that's why it was such a big surprise to me in Paris that this Indonesian mixed doubles pair were, you know, I don't want to take anything away from Mr. and Mrs. Adcock. They played very, very well. They deserved the
And
victory.
they did the week before that too.
Yeah.
They
So,
were in good form.
but it disappointed me that and it's quite natural. I don't know why I'm disappointed. It's human nature. You can't be at your peak the whole time.
No.
But I was disappointed with them. They didn't have the same sort of consistency that they've showed, well, really for the last 20 months or so, this Indonesian pair when we were in Paris.
But I think you were more. I think you were more disappointed about the attitude, maybe. Also,
Yes,
as you
yes,
said,
yeah.
you know, everybody can play
Have
a bad
day.
game and be up against players that have a really good day and are better than you. But it's more the way that you do lose, you know.
Yeah.
There is players where you can say, okay, he lost today, but he gave his all, and you didn't see that fighting mentality.
Yeah. Yeah.
8-3.
Spot on.
Sticking to that tactic that happens, but
Has she got to physically move forward, Miyuki?
yeah.
Because she's in the half-court area. Look at her now. She's driven that nice one back, but she's stood in that mid-court position. You'd like her to go forward. Having played that first one, you want to see her go forward.
But she's actually depending a lot of power. You know, she's depending on people hitting it to her all the time. On a shot, the last one there, you know, L.Natsir could have kind of directed it into another direction and with a soft shot and get forward. She doesn't have that in her game.
No.
She's hitting hard on everything.
Oof, just wide.
That was an unbelievable shot though.
Yeah.
4-10.
And I think that's one of the reasons that especially when they play the Indonesian pair here, that they are getting outplayed. They know when to hit hard and they know when to hit soft shots. See, soft shots, attack. That's one, that's better. But then, you can't blame her. But that's what she was actually doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Oh, unbelievable.
It's just, and she makes it look so easy, doesn't she, with that? Doesn't look rushed, just guiding the shuttle cross court.
Kamu jaga itu aja. Itu lagi tadi tuh ininya lagi enak kamu. Jaga terus berani itu ngarahin pelan. Ya. Jalan aja. Bolanya cuma manjang-manjang terus kok. Ya, tahan ya belakang ya. Tadi ya, jalan ya.
Top 1, 20 seconds. Top 1, 20 seconds.
So the players return to court. Really is a case of now or never as far as H.Hashimoto and M.Maeda is concerned.
11-4. Play. 4. 12-4.
That's better. See?
There you go.
It's the first time we've seen that.
Select over.
But that's what I've been alluding to. I know that you wanted her to sort of take more initiative at the net. She's capable of doing it. It's not as if she hasn't got those qualities and that shot-making ability. She does.
She does have it. She's just shown it as well. So,
Yeah.
but that takes, you know, that takes a lot of. So you have to have done it from home. You know, you have to practice it and practice it to get the confidence in it. If you don't practice it, then you can't just go in and change it. So it's kind of in the can you say in the games that you play in practice and the kind of drills that you do, you have to kind of force that game being played. And I have my doubts if she's doing that.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I think now she's trying to. They're really trying to take the net now.
Oh, nice block. Good rally. Oh, fabulous rally. And Nova Widianto like that one.
Over 13-6.
Maybe we should measuring the screaming.
These extended rallies, an indication of what you just mentioned earlier on today, Jim, the fact that the shuttles, the players are all complaining that the shuttles are flying a little bit slow.
That and then the environment. It's a very big hall. It's
Service over 7-13.
it doesn't look like there's that much drift either.
No.
So they're in control all the time.
No, I'm just looking at all the flags from all the nations that are competing here at the China Open. They're just above us and they're not moving at all. So no air conditioning on as far as we can tell, which makes the conditions a little less windy.
Yeah.
There'll be a little bit of air current movement in any big stadium, won't there? But I think the conditions are pretty good, really.
Yeah, quite good, yeah.
7-13.
And that's where she needs the block instead. You can already see Ahmad there.
14-7.
He knows that she's gonna hit a drive from a defense. So he's already covering that one. She needs to do the same thing we saw her do before, block it straight, maybe not using any power coming forward.
Service over 8-14.
Oh my goodness. Well, confusion between the two Indonesian players. I thought they were going to hit each other. The smash, how on earth Hashimoto gets this one back. Look, they almost collided. Kept them in the rally.
Incredible balance.
Yeah. Oh, well, she doesn't miss many of those. Goodness me.
Service over
She's human after all.
9-15.
Now, what would you say to your mixed doubles partner if they've just missed a sitter like that?
I wouldn't
Come
say
on,
a thing.
reveal yourself, Mr. Laugerson.
Oh, I better not talk about that. No, it's actually, if you really look at it nowadays, I really think that you see. I don't know how you say, but the pairs are better pairs. If you know,
And
they're-
better communication and
they're-
understanding.
You don't see that, you don't see that many where you have somebody constantly directing
Yeah.
the game and
Yeah.
telling his partner what to do and what not
Yeah.
to do, and there's a really good understanding on what
Yeah.
they need to do, and I think that's part of the game that has evolved over the last
Yeah.
couple of years. Even that you know, I speak to someone and even I know that there is reaction in there where they think their partner was not that good. And, you know, it's not that obvious anymore.
No. Well, I was privileged to play with another Danish player you remember well called Steen Fladberg. When I made a complete mess of a sitter, he used to smile at me, a big smile, and say, "Jill, don't be afraid."
Yeah.
So I knew I was not going to get a telling off. He was not angry with me, and he was just a delight to play with.
Yeah.
Well, this is all getting very different now, isn't it? Just 3 points in it. Anything is possible. And it is amazing, you know, I know we've sort of joked about it in a way with Liliyana and Natsir missing that sitter, but she missed that sitter, all of a sudden, 3 quick points or something.
Maybe he did say something.
And
No.
their opponent's back in the match.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's believable.
It's all about momentum.
Yeah, exactly.
But then she does this.
Yeah.
17-12.
But that's also, you know, that's also communication. You know, having lost 3 points, and then now close, then they just pull away again.
Yeah.
It's. I just think it has improved a lot.
Yeah.
Now, I have one real who said this to me, but I once had a partner who, after I did a mistake, shouted, "It's like playing a 3 against 1." So.
Oh my goodness.
That doesn't make you feel comfortable.
17.
No.
So it's.
I might have to make you a cup of tea tonight and get you to reveal who that was. That's a good smash. Nice idea.
The idea was right, yeah.
Somebody's over. 18, 13.
And it's a real shame because I just feel in the last 7 or 8 minutes that the Japanese pair really got themselves into these rallies and beginning to believe in what they're trying to do. And here we are, time's running out.
Yeah. But again, it comes back to I don't think they're practicing enough. You know, they can do it, you know, for a few rallies, and then as soon as the Indonesian pair see, oh, that's what they're doing now, they're challenging them on it.
Yeah.
And then they're not proper trained for it. Oi.
Yeah,
See,
well
again,
recovered.
she's using power.
19, 13.
She's using that drive shot from the drive, and Ahmad, he's already standing waiting for it. She needs to block it away, you know,
Yeah.
block it past him, or maybe even flick it behind him and then come forward. Great balance again. He's already looking for the next one, eh?
Mm. Two points away. Number 2 seeds from a
13.
place in the quarterfinals.
See.
20, match point, 13.
35 minutes. And we're at match points. Just wide. 21-11, 21-13, the scoreline. 36 minutes of play. And the number 2 seeds, the current world champions, Tontowi, T.Ahmad and Liliyana Natsir, through to the quarterfinals tomorrow.
Match 1 by
H.Hashimoto
Haman and
and
Liliyana.
M.Maeda.
21-11,
Still
21-13. Thank you.
Yet to progress past an R16. So there is confirmation of the score, 21-11, 21-13 in 36 minutes of play.